Hi, I'm 17 miles away from the place where we took a look at our first wastewater wisdom for homeowners, Watershed Wisdom for Homeowners magazine. And we learned all about watersheds and stormwater and groundwater and what is wastewater. So the next thing we're going to see in here in this booklet provided by the Alliance of Rouge Communities is we're going to learn how you can make a difference by gaining watershed wisdom and practicing healthy habits for clean water. We're going to take a look at this in two ways. First of all, I'm going to read to you what they have, and they got good stuff in here. And then at the end, I'm going to introduce to you many of the things that were not included. So let's get started. So we're going to read on to learn how to make a difference by gaining watershed wisdom and practicing healthy habits for clean water in your home, in your yard, for your vehicles, in your community, and in your business. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So first, we're going to learn about what are the benefits of healthy habits. I'm going to say clean water and the absence of disease and other problems introduced by polluted water into the home and the family. But let's go. Practicing healthy habits in your home not only protects water quality, it reduces costs to you and the community. Oh, right away we flipped over to the money. Healthy habits promote recycling, which reduces the burden on our landfills. Healthy habits extend the life of septic and sewer systems and reduces the need for unnecessary maintenance costs. Lots of money references here. And then they give us some signs of bad habits. One is you pour bacon grease down the sink drain. That's a bad habit. Another one is when you replace your old computer, you put it in the trash instead of taking it to a recycle center where it's broken apart and pieces are recovered and things that can't be reused again, they put that in the trash. So then you have another sign of a bad habit. You have a septic system but haven't thought twice about it. You think often about your... Okay, we'll just go on. This is good stuff. It's good, really. You know what? It's better than nothing, and that's what we're starting with right now. So adopt these healthy habits. Fats, grease, and oil. Fats, oils, and grease. They call it fog. It's referred to as fog. Excessive fats, oil, and grease washed down a sink are referred to as fog. It blocks pipes and can create pollution problems. We reduce this problem by pouring or scraping greasy or oily food waste into a container or a jar so that it can cool down before throwing it in the trash, get in the garbage. You can also use a paper towel or scraper to remove residual grease from dishes and pans prior to washing them. Hey, my son does that. Let me tell you, I have had such a wonderful time cleaning those pots and pans lately because he showed me how to do that. Right in there. Like to not use a paper towel, but we'll take the next step somewhere. So keep drains clean by pouring a half a cup of baking soda down the drain, followed by a half a cup of vinegar. Hey, that's fun. You ever do that volcano thing? Well, this is what's happening here. Wait 10 to 15 minutes and rinse with hot water. It should be done at least once a year or more often if water is draining slowly. For toilet problem. Never put disposable wipes down a drain or toilet. And even though it says disposable, they don't mean to flush it because they don't break down. It causes blockages in the sewer system, which is costly and can cause sewage backups through 4 drains and toilets. Some cities and towns in the United States have had absolute blockages and dams of these things, and they have to go in and clean them all out. And it's actually a health hazard when there's a whole lot of them in there and the flow gets blocked. Now contact your community for take-back programs to dispose of prescription medication. I thought they were going to have take-back programs for the disposable wipes, but that we'll leave that for that. So do not dispose of your prescription medication down the toilet or in the sink. Don't throw it in the yard. Don't leave it out. Don't even drop it in the garbage cans because someone might go through it and find it or take it out. Or if it's taken to the landfill, it can seep down into the water from there. They end up polluting the waters and impacting fish and wildlife and contaminating the food and water supplies. What can happen with many of these chemicals is it'll actually change the breeding habits of fish and crustaceans and insects, and they'll either wipe them out or cause them to delay to reproduce in much fewer numbers, and it impacts the entire, as we know, it impacts the entire web. So if you are a hunter or you like going into the woods and seeing all the animals and creatures, we need to keep a lid on this prescription stuff going out into nature because it directly impacts the creatures. Household hazardous waste and recycling. Check your community's website to see what you got around here. There's plenty in Wayne, Macomb, Oakland, St. Clair, Washtenaw, and the DEA has a prescription take back. Many of the police stations, you go in there and you drop the unused medication in there. Some of the stores have it. You go in and drop the unused medication in it, and you're done. Do not leave it around the house. So, more healthy habits in your home if you have a septic system. Now, please recall, there's about 20,000 people, right? Houses in the Rouge River watershed that have a septic system. So we're going to get a whole page. There's 1 million people living in the Rouge River water system, the watershed. And now we're going to learn about what these 20,000 people can do. Learning about your septic system is key to keeping functioning properly and saving money. I guess that's the big hook there, is the money. Inspection. Have your system inspected every 3 years by a reputable septic tank service contractor. When necessary, have it pumped out. They're going to tell you, and then get it done, and then you're good to go for another 3 to 5 years. Prolong the life of your system by doing this, and minimize water inputs into the system by installing water-saving fixtures such as low-flow toilets, faucets, and shower heads. Of course, reduce the amount of harsh chemicals that get washed down a drain and into your septic system. The chemicals can actually kill the beneficial bacteria necessary for the breakdown of the wastes entering your system. So, and then dispose of non-degradable items such as fats, oil, and grease. That's the fog. Hair, tampons, and disposable diapers and wipes in the trash. These materials will not break down easily and can cause clogging and premature failure of your system. Failure. And then you got to get a whole brand new one. Cost you more money, right? Okay. Try some composting. Everybody should be doing this. This is lots of fun. Eggshells, coffee ground, vegetable waste, other organic kitchen waste, instead of putting them in the garbage disposal, go ahead and compost them. If you've got a yard, do it on outside. Around your septic system, point your downspouts away from the drain field. You don't want to fill it up with that water. Do not plant shrubs or trees on the drain field of your septic system. The root systems could interfere with the infrastructure, which can lead to premature system failures. Now, this is a specific type with a drain field, so that's what they're talking about here. Don't drive or park your vehicles on any part of your septic system. Doing so can compact the soil or damage the pipes, tank, or other septic system components. And then you got a problem. Supplements and additives generally do not improve the operation of your system. Some may actually harm your system by causing solids to be carried into the drain field, which causes premature clogging. And in addition, supplements containing organic solvents can cause groundwater contamination. Whoa. Now, what are the benefits of healthy habits? Let's hear some more bad habits. You walk your dog, but you don't pick up after it. Got to pick up after your dog. You mow the grass right up to the water's edge on your wakefront property. There's two things there. First of all, don't mow right up to the edge if you got grass on going right up to a water's edge at your area. Second of all, there's a question I have, like, what are you doing with grass all the way to the lake edge? The lake edge needs to have natural growth there. You're just a person who does that will find that they're eroding their waterfront and they're not getting good water quality, and it's just all nasty. In that last bottom section there, it could be a very big section of grass. It will actually be soggy and much of the time unusable, even during simple rains and just in general, because it'll get waterlogged. So another one, you fertilize your grass often and fertilizer particles end up on the sidewalk. Whoa, it's grass. It's grass. Okay. Home waste. Adopt these healthy habits. For home waste, utilize non-toxic cleaning alternatives whenever possible. Common household items such as white vinegar, baking soda, and hydrogen peroxide can serve a multitude of cleaning functions, which I'm not going to tell you about right now because we don't have it in this list. Now, if you do have a compost pile and live on the water, well, wait a minute, now we got to caution this. Keep it away from the water's edge to eliminate the chance of runoff from these piles, contributing excess nutrients to the water. They have to be broken down before they get into the water system. Now, never dump items such as, this is a serious one, never dump items such as motor oil, cleaners, paint, or other materials down a storm drain. Storm drains flow directly to the river without any treatment. No dumping on the ground or into your septic system either, as this could cause materials to seep into the soils and contaminate the groundwater supply that way. Check your community's website for the next household hazardous waste event and dispose of it there. Now, this is one thing we're going to come back to in just a few minutes. When it rains, redirect ground spouts from hard paved surfaces into vegetated areas, such as rain garden or a rain barrel for later use in your garden. Rain gardens are growing in popularity because they look great and they filter pollutants. They're just super cool. out of the runoff, allowing clean water to infiltrate and replenish groundwater supplies. So animal waste, always pick up the pet waste promptly and dispose of it in the trash, even in the winter. When it rains or the snow melts, bacteria from pet waste that isn't picked up can wash directly into storm drains and drainage ditches and eventually into the Rouge River. And that stuff, they'll detect it, but they cannot clean everything out of the water that's coming to them. Don't feed ducks or geese. They become dependent on the food from humans and tend to congregate in one place expecting more food. We're not going to come back to that, but we'll just leave it there for now. So more healthy habits in your yard. How about mowing? Mowing the lawn. Cutting the grass too short can lead to plant stress, shallow root systems, and turf that is more prone to pests and weeds. We're getting a lot of grass stuff here. A healthy height for grass is 3 inches. I know some folks that would argue that. I'm leaning towards the 5 inches point. Think about mulching your grass clippings back onto the lawn instead of bagging it. They'll quickly break down and provide free nutrients and organic matter to the soil, and then you don't have to buy that stuff. Sweep excess grass clippings off hard or paved surfaces and back onto the lawn to prevent them from getting washed into the storm drains themselves. Yard waste. Collect or mulch leaves soon after they fall so they don't get carried into lakes and streams through storm drains or with the wind where they can add excess nutrients. Rather than raking and bagging your leaves, mulch them into your lawn, which acts as a natural fertilizer and adds organic matter to the soil. I've been living in my house for about 20 years and I have never, ever thrown any leaves or sticks in the garbage. Never had to do it. And my yard looks fine. Fertilizer. Don't overuse pesticides or fertilizers. If you don't need to use them at all, don't. Do you need them? You might not. What you think you're getting, you may not be receiving, but you're certainly spreading that stuff around. Don't fertilize right before a heavy rain. Use your sprinkler or hose to lightly water after fertilizing to move the nutrients into the root zone of the soil. Of course, that's going to start moving them down into the ground too, because they don't just stop and wait for the roots to consume them. Consider fertilizing only once a year. How about making that a rule? How about every 2 years? How about every 5 years when you think, oh, wow, maybe I should get some? So late summer or early fall is best, since this is the time when the roots store nutrients over the winter months for future use in the spring growth season. Now we're talking about grass things, and I'm just not going to go into it right now. Landscaping and native plants. Use porous landscaping materials such as brick paving stones. Those are okay. Sand or gravel beds and mulched areas, allowing spaces where water can infiltrate around and through the materials. Landscaping with Michigan native plants is economical because they're adapted to local soil and climate conditions, and once established will require less trimming, watering, and fertilizing. Native plants also naturally resist pests and diseases, eliminating the need for harmful pesticides, and they attract wildlife, including butterflies, dragonflies, hummingbirds, and can discourage nuisance species like Canada geese. Native plants have extensive root systems that promote infiltration of water and filter pollutants and sediment from the runoff. So then we got 4 pictures of some flowers here. We got black-eyed Susans, bee balm, liatris, and New England aster. Yes, it's native. It's native here. They saw it over there first. Okay. Oh, let's get some signs of bad habits. You wash your car in your driveway and the wash water drains to the storm drain. When done fishing, you empty your unused bait into the lake. You clean your garage floor by hosing it down your driveway and into the storm drain. No. Don't do that. So let's see. For cars, use your local car wash, which sends the water to the sewer system to be treated before it goes to the rivers and streams. Oh, yeah, all right. If you wash your car at home, do it on the grass to filter out built-up road salt and other pollutants from going directly into the storm drains. In spring, sweep your garage and dispose of it in the garbage to clean the road salt and pollutants that have accumulated over the winter. Dispose of used vehicle fluids that you change yourself at a household hazardous waste event in your community. All the chemicals that are in your vehicle are hazardous chemicals. You don't want them in your ground or on your pavement. You don't want them in your garden or anywhere near it. Clean up leaks on pavement promptly. And boats. Wash your boat on the grass with a phosphate-free soaps and avoid solvent-based cleaners. Wash boats with water, elbow grease, and a coarse cloth. Other natural cleaners include baking soda, you heard about that one, borax, and lemon or lime juice. And after fishing, dispose of unused bait into the trash unless you have a mulch pile, and put it in over there. Never dump it into the water, which could spread aquatic invasive species. When your boat comes out of the water, remove drain plugs from bilges, ballast tanks, and live wells. Drain water from live wells and bilges. Dry off your watercraft. Remove aquatic organisms and plants. And this prevents the spread of diseases and invasive species. Let's get some more bad habits. Your subdivision detention pond is surrounded by mowed grass. And you might see this often. You'll also notice that maybe you'll have to ask about this and you'll have to figure it out yourself because they're not really going to tell you. Do you think that your subdivision detention pond is the right size for your community? Probably not. Hey, let's take a look at this one. This is a pond. It's got an aerator in it. And they got rocks around the edges, and they also have plants and a lot of grass right down to the edge. There's a cormorant out there, but I'm not going to show him to you right now. He's looking for the one fish that's in there. You have seen illegal dumping around lakes or rivers and just ignore it. Call somebody, tell them about it. And it may take some time, and I'm not going to tell you that story right now, but talk about it and tell somebody. And then we have some information about detention, retention pond maintenance, storm drains, illegal dumping, and volunteering. Let's see. Let's take a look at illegal dumping. If you see someone dumping anything, even grass clippings, report it to your community's pollution hotline. Things should be reported, including dumping to lakes, rivers, or streams, unusual discharges from pipes, foul odors, or even a large number of dead fish in the waterways. And keep storm drains clear of debris to reduce pollution entering our lakes and rivers. See right there? I could tell you a story, and it's been going on for 5 years, and I did everything they said in here. And the story's still going on, so that's what's going on there. All right, we'll come back to that with someone else. So let's look at another bad habit. Wash water is rinsed down a storm drain. Don't do that. Material waste or trash spills or is leaking in parking lots and doesn't get cleaned up. Report that. You're an employee and don't know how to dispose of hazardous waste. That's many-layered problem right there. Facility management maintains suitable loading dock and dumpster areas to prevent the potential for spills and leaks. Pollution prevention. Clean routinely, sweeping parking lots, storage, inventory when storing or handling materials, and education. Provide training session or information or materials to educate employees in the proper disposal and pollution prevention practices for the business. Education creates a safer workplace and reduces the potential for legal problems and fines. And that goes back to another story I'll tell you in another time, but it's been going on for a long time. And when it comes down to the leaders of a site, they need to really do their thing and educate everybody. And that means not telling them to do things that are bad. They got to stop doing that. So what is wastewater? What were we going to do here? Oh, yeah. And that's what I was going to talk about extra. The industrial aspect of it. If you're a leader in an industry, if you're a supervisor, a manager, or an executive, or CEO, or whatever you are, you need to take the environment seriously. Take a look around, see what's going on at your place, and fix the problems. I guarantee you, you're going to find them. Thank you for listening. And that's the second going through the watershed wisdom for homeowners and businesses and everybody. So they did a good job with this, and we're going to move along with it and get some other stuff done. Thank you.